Okay, so I love to see that you guys have loaded up in our Castle classroom. And I'm just going to ask that you have a seat. Siéntate, por favor. And we can get started. We are going to share our cultural projects today, but I want to wait till the end of class. Hola, Josh. And Rosemary, or no, that's Ivy. Hola, Ivy. And the reason why I'm going to be waiting till the after the class to share is I want to get through a little bit of new curriculum today. And this is probably going to be something that we do usually. We're not going to share our projects all the time for all of us every week. And the reason for that is I'm finding that it's taking up a lot of class time. And we don't always get through new material too. So we're going to do new material first. Awesome, Josh. That sounds fine to me. And that's okay, Karina. Hopefully you can get it done for next class. Un momento. I'm just going to close my door here. All right, so if you could go ahead and zoom into the lesson, type in C in the chat box if you're looking at the top of the lesson right now, and it should say Virtual World Español Nivel 2, Lección 7. Gracias, Hannah. And Monaco, can you have a seat, por favor?
It's loading right now. I can't move.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to wait for it to load and then
And Andrea and Brian, are you guys able to have a seat in one of the chairs? Gracias. Violet's not here today. Gracias for letting me know, Karina.
I think she forgot, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll check in with her about that after. Awesome, guys. So I hope you guys...
My 3DU person isn't letting me sit.
Oh, that's strange. And you're clicking on the chair?
Yes.
Okay, well, you can stand for today. Is that a problem that you've always had, or is that just today?
It's been happening for the last few weeks.
Oh, okay. I'm writing a note of this, and we can talk to NCAR. Do you have NCAR on your contacts, Andrea?
No.
Okay, NCAR is our 3DU helper. Ask NCAR. You can't sit. I'm just going to write that note. And we'll get some answers for you on how to solve that problem. See, Ryan, I will send the link also in the Zoom chat box. I actually like opening it up in the Zoom because I can see it a little bit better. So there it is in the Zoom if you need it. And empecemos. Let's begin. La fecha de hoy. Now, I've written it out in a full sentence saying today is the 18th of November, 2019. Could I get a volunteer to please read out La fecha de hoy para mí, for me?
Sí.
Gracias, Karina. Go ahead.
La fecha de hoy.
Can you read out the black part underneath?
Oh, okay. Hoy es de Gio.
Hoy es el 18. That's 18.
Yes. Hoy es 18 de noviembre de 2019.
Yeah, try and sound out each of those letters. 19.
19.
Gracias. And maybe I will get Noah to read out the date on the top too. And Noah, I know you just joined us. Hola, and I see Judah K has just joined us too. Judah K, I think you're not in this class. I think you're in the Thursday class. And that would have been my mistake because I accidentally put it in the email that you'd be in today's class.
I think Judah might be Violet.
Oh, are you Violet? Is Violet here?
It's Donovan.
Hola, Noah.
It won't let me zoom in again.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I just posted the lesson in the Zoom chat box, Noah. Could you open it up that way for now?
Yes, it is Violet.
Yay! Is anybody else having trouble zooming in on the PowerPoint lesson today? All right, these are good things to know, guys, and we'll try and get
What
this
should
problem
I
solved.
read?
So Noah, did you open up the lesson there? And it's at the top, and in blue it says La fecha de hoy, and I want you to read the black Spanish underneath.
Okay. Hoy es 18 de noviembre de 2019.
Nice. Let's practice those numbers. Can you say 18?
18
Nice. And then say noviembre.
noviembre.
Awesome. And then say 19.
19.
Awesome. And I do encourage you guys to, whenever you see Spanish words with a lot of vowels in there, like the I and the E, there's a million of them in those words, it seems. But try and slow down and really pronounce each sound of those letters. 19. Say that in your house out loud, everybody. 19. And say 18. 18. Good. So it's the 18th of November. Oh my goodness. We have less than a month left until our last day of the term. Isn't that exciting? We've got through a lot. And today I'm going to introduce to you a new concept of irregular verbs. So we're going to learn a couple cool verbs that we can use in our sentences from now on. So I'll read out the introduction here and we can look at what we're doing today. Buenas tardes, todos. Todos means everybody. En la clase de hoy, in today's class, we're going to spend some time reviewing how to conjugate los verbos regulares in present tense. So last year we learned about how to conjugate regular verbs in present tense. So those were verbs that we use in sentences to talk about what we're doing or what someone's doing right now. Really useful in our sentences. So we're going to do a little review of that. You may have forgotten, and that's okay. Entonces, so then, quiero enseñarte. So quiero. Enseñarte means to teach you. Enseñar is the verb to teach, and I've added te on the end, which means you. You can do that in Spanish. It's kind of cool. Enseñarte. So I'm going to teach you about los dos verbos, so the two verbs que usamos, that we use for the verb to be. So there are two verbs that we're going to study that mean to be. And which one do we use and why? Well, we're going to learn that today. So ser y estar. So those are the two verbs that we're going to learn on. Después la lección, so after this little lesson that we'll have, I would love to have some estudiantes share their proyectos de culturas. So you guys were doing your culture project. So I'd love to have a handful of us share after we do our lesson. Not all of you will get to share, I'll tell you that. And that's because we only have an hour of class a week. And so from now on, we're not always going to have everybody share all of their projects. So we have enough time to learn new concepts. But I love sharing, and I'm always encouraging sharing in our class. So that's what we'll get to do today a little bit. ¿Están listo? Are you ready? Empecemos. Let's begin, or let's start. So last year we learned about regular verb conjugation in the present tense. So we looked at a whole bunch of verbs. For instance, hablar, comer, vivir. So these were words that ended in AR, ER, or IR. And those were verbs or action words that we changed the ending of. Do you remember, if you guys remember that, can you give me a smiley face in the chat box if you guys remember verb conjugation in the present tense last year? We didn't spend too much time going over it. Gwen remembers. Faith kind of remembers good. Luke remembers. And that's okay, Hannah. And Josh doesn't remember. Okay, that's really good to know. Kinda for Amelia and Hannah and Ryan. Okay, that's good to know. If it's something that can wait, Karina, please wait. But if it's like you have to go to the bathroom or if it's an emergency, you can go, okay? Right, so some of you weren't in my class last year, but I'm wondering if Josh knows from a different learning, because you guys are in level 2, so it may have been something that you learned quickly last year and that you need to review. So we're going to do a review. It's really good to know that you guys don't remember all of it. Noah, Josh, okay, good. So we're going to do a really good review then on present tense. So let's follow along, guys, on the lesson. We use present tense verb conjugation when we were talking about an action that is happening right now. So that's what I mean by present tense. Verbs are action words. So verbs in English might be to learn, to eat, to swim. Those are all action words. But we know that when we conjugate verbs, we need to when we conjugate verbs, it's telling us who is doing that action. Remember we learned about subject pronouns, guys? So subject pronouns are who is doing an action. So yo, what's yo mean? Type it in the chat box. What's yo mean? Good. That's a subject pronoun for I. We had tú. What's tú mean? Good. What's él mean? He. What's ella mean? She. Ella. And then we had usted. Now that was an interesting subject pronoun. Usted can mean you in a formal way. For instance, if you're talking to your teacher, you might want to, or if you want to say, have you given me your homework? You might use usted because it's formal and singular. Good, guys. And they can be ustedes. Yeah, we'll go over that. But you formal is usted. And it's talking about one person when it's usted. See, what about if we wanted to say we? There are two ways. One can be we if we're talking about a group of men. What's we if we're talking about a group of men or if there's one male in the group? Nosotros. Sí, muy bien. Y, ¿qué más? Nosotras. Good. That's if we're talking about a group of only girls. Nosotras. Awesome. ¿Qué es vosotros? Who remembers when we use vosotros as a subject pronoun? In Spain, see, Hannah. And what does it mean, vosotros? Who is that referring to? Not we. Close, Karina. See, kind of like everyone, but it's talking about, it's saying you, but it's plural. So you all didn't do your assignment. How could you? But I only say that in Spain. We only use vosotros in Spain, but it's still good to know. What about ustedes? What can we use for ustedes? Not we. So we is nosotros and nosotras. And it can mean you all. Sí. So in Latin America, in Canada, anywhere else that's not Spain, if we want to talk about you plural, yes, sí. Muy bien. We say ustedes. Ustedes can also mean they sometimes. And that's formal, right? They, sí. ¿Qué es ellos en inglés? Ellos. What does that subject pronoun mean? Ellos. So not he, but they. And it's a group of boys or a group that has one boy in it. We use ellos, remember that? And then if ellos is they, but a group of guys or a group with one guy in it, then que es ellas. When do we use ellas? They, sí, but it's feminine. Give me a smiley face now if you feel good about subject pronouns. That was a little bit of a review. Good. And it's okay to put a sad face if you're not quite sure. That helps me teach you better because now I know that we need to understand a little more. Good. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Okay. Right. That's okay, Karina. I would love to have a little meeting with you. Maybe we can do that after class. Would you be open to that? And we can talk about subject pronouns. Good. Subject pronouns were like a step 1 to learning about conjugation of verbs. So you really got to have a good hold on subject pronouns. So that's okay if you don't understand it fully. Violet's got a big smiley face. That makes me really happy. Good. Okay. Right. Okay, so now that we know our subject pronouns, we can talk about regular verbs. So for instance, when we want to say verbs with subject pronouns in English, we could say something like we eat. So we being the subject pronoun, eat being the verb, the regular verb. We eat. So present tense verbs are talking about things that are happening right now. What are some other things in English that we could say that use a subject pronoun and a verb in the present tense? Give me something that we could say. So I said we eat. That could be something. We run. Good. We play. Awesome. We dance. What if you wanted to use a different subject pronoun? We drink. See, Noah. They are eating food at the beach. See, Hannah remembers that you can say they are eating or they eat. Those are both ways that we can talk about verbs in present tense. I sing, I eat, awesome. We draw, awesome, Violet. I am eating, excelente, Arwen. We sleep, good. All right, so that's how we do it in English. Now, por ejemplo, en español, so I'm reading on the bottom of the first page here. We are learning Spanish. That is a present tense verb conjugation. And here it is. We or we are, so nosotros. And then to learn in Spanish is aprender. Why on earth did I say aprendemos? So I've written there, we are learning in Spanish is actually nosotros aprendemos español. If aprender is to learn, that's the verb to learn, aprender. Why on earth did I say aprendemos instead of aprender? What do you guys think? So nosotros is the subject pronoun, right? Good. Okay, so this is informing me of where you guys are, so this is good. When we say we learn or we are learning, remember we have to change the verb. We have to conjugate or change the verb to match the subject pronoun. Do you guys remember that we had those little special endings that we take off the ending of the verb? Aprender, that's the verb to learn. But we need to say we learn or we are learning. So we know that the subject pronoun is we, nosotros, and we took off the ending of aprender and we added special endings. I want you guys to scroll down now. This chart may be familiar to you. Do you guys see where I'm looking here? Actually, I might share my screen here for you, and then you can follow along with my mouse. All right, sharing screen here. All right. So all verbs either have an AR ending, an ER ending, or an IR ending. For instance, hablar, that has an AR ending. That means to speak. ER ending could be comer, and please don't write on the lesson. I know you might be trying to be helpful, but I like the lesson to not have writing on it. Thank you. Comer has an ER ending. That means to eat. And a verb like vivir, that means to live. Now, if we're talking about someone doing something, we can't use these verbs without changing the ending. I can't say yo hablar, because that would say I to speak. So we have to change the endings by taking off the AR, ER, or IR and adding these special endings. So if it's an AR verb, those are the endings in red that I want to add. So I could say yo, which means I, speak, which would be yo hablo. Do you see how I did that there? Good. So let's just focus on this column of hablar. So for all AR ending verbs, if we want to talk about something that's in the present tense, for instance, I speak, we can't say yo hablar. We have to take off the AR. Good, Amelia remembers. That's awesome. And that's okay if you guys don't remember this right away. We can spend extra time on it if we need. Yo hablo, I speak. You speak. Tell me you speak. Nice, Karina. Exactamente, exactly. Tell me you speak if I want to say singular and informal, you. Tú hablas. Muy bien. You took off the AR and you added the special ending for you. How are you doing, Josh? Is this totally making no sense for you right now? That's okay. I'd love to spend some extra time if it's not. It's good? It's making sense? Okay, good. Is anyone else feeling a little bit confused right now? Let me know and I can explain better. Good. What if I want to say, we speak and it's a group of girls? Give me the subject pronoun and then give me the conjugated verb. If it's a group of girls and we want to say we speak is what I want to say in Espanol. So find the subject pronoun for we if it's a group of girls. So ella is she. Él and ella is he and she. We is nosotras. Muy bien. Awesome. Nosotras habl, and then what's the special ending? So go down to on the chart, find nosotras, and look beside it at the special ending in red that we have to add on. See, Faith. Amos. So nosotros hablamos. Muy bien. Ryan, can you say that in your mic, please?
Hablamos.
Say after me. Nosotras.
Nosotras
Hablamos.
hablamos.
Excelente. Sí, nosotros hablamos inglés. We all speak English. E and nosotros hablamos español. We speak Spanish now too, don't we? Awesome. Ivy, perfecto. How are you feeling, Violet? Is this kind of making sense to you, or is this a little bit too much right now? This is a review from last year, and we didn't spend too much time on it. So it's all right if you're feeling a little bit confused, but okay, let's do a little bit of practice for the ER verbs. So all ER ending verbs, por ejemplo, comer. Sí, Noah, are you understanding a little bit of this though right now? I'm not sure if you had learned about present tense verb conjugation. That's good to know. I eat meat. See, Gwen. She just said yo como carne. Say it out loud on your mic, Gwen.
Yo como carne.
Excelente. She just formed a sentence conjugating a verb. Muy bien. I eat meat. Yo como carne. So we're looking at the comer middle part of the chart right now. Yo como sandwich. See, you eat sandwiches. I guess sandwiches might be sandwiches with an S at the end. Good. Okay, adios, Josh. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. I'm recording this class so you can watch the last part after. What if I want to say they eat? They eat. And it's a group of boys. What would that be in Spanish? Type it in the chat box. They eat, and it's a group of boys. So vosotros means you all in Spain, right? So we wouldn't use vosotros. Luke, muy bien. Luke, can you try and say that out in your mic for us, por favor?
Ellos comen.
Comen, sí, comen. And Gwen, vosotros is you all, and we always use that in Spain. It's not going to be they. They is ellos y ellas. So ellos if it's a group of boys or if it's a group with one boy in it, right? And then ellas if it's a group of girls and we're saying they. Ooh, nice, Karina. Oh, you'd say actually ellos comen. See that special ending we have? We have to make the ending match the subject pronoun. Every subject pronoun has their own special ending. And then we have all the special endings for the IR verbs. Take a look at the IR verb section on the right-hand side in pink. Vivo, vives, vive, vive, vivimos. That's the difference with the IR verbs. See how in the other verb endings we have amos for the ARs, we have amos for the ERs, and then emos with an I for the IR verbs. Vivis, that's a little bit different too. But the IR and ER verb endings are very similar, aren't they? Nice. Arwen, can you say that out loud?
Ellos comen comida.
Excelente. She or they eat food. They eat food. Karina says, ellos comen lasagna. They eat lasagna. Excelente. Give me a smiley face if you feel pretty good about present tense verb conjugation for AR, ER, IR verbs. And could I get that person with their mic to turn it off? Who has their mic on? I think that's... Okay, it's off. Good. Awesome, guys. And Violet, I just want to check in and see how you're feeling about it. Okay, Ryan's needing a little practice. That's totally fine. Thanks for letting me know, Ryan. Okay, so what I'm going to do for your homework here, guys, is I'm probably going to include a little bit of a practice assignment for your AR, ER, IR verb conjugation in the present tense. Maybe I'll include a cool video about that. and you can watch it. Vivir means to live. All right. So in your homework, that's good. I'm going to include a little video about present tense conjugation of verbs. And I want you guys to watch it, and then I'll give you a tiny little assignment so I know where you're at for that. Good. It's a lot, and I feel like I am rushing through it a little bit because this was also something that we learned last year. But for those of you who need a little extra practice, I'm going to give you that in your homework. So you're going to feel really good about all this after. After class today, I'm going to stay a few minutes and I'm going to explain it. So if Ryan, Violet, Gwen, and Karina would like to stay, we're going to talk about subject pronouns again, and we're going to spend a little extra time on just regular present tense verb conjugation. So you guys understand that. Oh, that's okay, Violet. You and I need to meet anyways for just speaking aloud some things. So we can arrange something, all right? That's fine, Violet. Okay. Thanks, guys. And that's for regular verbs only. So all of those special endings, regular verbs mean that they follow the special ending rule. Now, I'm going to introduce you to two verbs today that are really interesting, and they both mean to be. I think I'm still sharing my screen. Okay, so do you guys see this where it says to be? When to use ser versus estar? Can you just let me know? Type in C if you can see that right now and you're following along. Awesome. So to be, that's a verb. To be happy, to be sad, to be a veterinarian. We use the verb ser. Say in your house aloud, ser. That means to be. Oops, did I just delete something? Estar also means to be. Now, ser and estar are both irregular verbs. When I say irregular, I just mean that they follow a different pattern. They don't use those special endings for verb conjugation, but we change them a little bit differently. They both mean to be. However, we choose which verb to use based on what we are talking about. That's a good question, Gwen. So they're neither. So that just means to be. So we're actually not connecting it to any specific person. They're unconjugated right now. They don't show us who the subject pronoun is. Let's scroll down and look at when we use ser versus when we use estar en español. I found a really cool chart here that talks about, on the left-hand side, this is when we use ser. And then on the right-hand side, this is when we use estar. Remember that they both mean to be, but we use them in different situations. When we use ser, we use them when we are describing something. So take a look at these acronyms, or what is this called? An acrostic. So if we want to use ser, we can remember that it says doctor. So, and then on the right-hand side, that could say place. Ser is used when we talk about description. So when we're describing something or someone, and then I have alto, which is tall, bajo, short, grande, big, small. Those are all descriptive words. We can use ser when we're talking about someone's occupation. For instance, I am a teacher. Soy maestra, so I'm a teacher. You are a student. Eres estudiante. We can use ser to talk about characteristics, so kind of like descriptions. We're saying something is nice, short. This class is fun. We're describing the class. We use ser when we're talking about the time and the date. We use ser when we're talking about origins, so where somebody is from or where something is from. So this tea is delicious, and this tea is from Sri Lanka, or this tea is from Germany, or I am from Africa, or I am from China, if you're talking about where you're from. And we also use ser to talk about relationships. So this is my mother, or you are my friend. That's thinking about relationships in sentences. Looking at estar, so we have positions and location. So location, so my house is in Canada, or my coffee cup is to the left of my computer. Those are positions, locations. We talk about estar when we're talking about actions. So is climbing, that's what it means by ing form. So if something's in, so if I am singing, am would be the action. So we would use estar, I am singing. So it would be estoy, I am, and then singing. Conditions. So we could talk about weather, emotions, sad or happy. I'm feeling sad or happy. The main thing, guys, though, here's the trick to know the difference of when we use ser versus estar. We use ser when things are more permanent. For instance, like they're tall, right? So they're always going to be tall. It's a permanent thing. This person's always going to be my mother. So it's always going to be your mother. So that's relationship using ser. Estar, here's the trick, is temporary or changing. So I'm going to write that in our notes too. That's the trick. So locations can change. Emotions can change. You can be happy or sad 1 minute. So we use estar for changing or temporary conditions, and ser for permanent things. Amelia says, yo soy alto. Muy bien. She is tall. That's not going to change. Okay, guys. Scrolling down. Do you remember how we have those special endings when we conjugate AR, ER, and IR regular verbs? Well, here's your conjugation for ser. This is all you have to know for using ser in the present tense. On the left-hand side, we have the subject pronouns, which talks about who is doing that action of being, right? And in the middle here, this is not endings, but these are the actual word that you write. So for ser, you're not just taking off the ending, but you're changing the whole word to be these words. These are the conjugated verbs for to be in Spanish. I'm going to go ahead and say them, and I want you to repeat in your house with me, por favor. So for yo, it would be soy. Say soy. Siguen. Yo soy means I am. And you can say something like yo soy estudiante. I am a student, or I am student. Boys and girls, in your house aloud, please say yo soy estudiante. Yo soy estudiante. Muy bien, Hannah says she is a girl. Go ahead and say that out loud in your mic, Hannah.
Yo soy la niña.
Excelente. I am a girl, is what she just said. If we want to say you are. So eres is are. So say eres. Eres. Now say you are. Tú eres. Tú eres. And you could use that in a sentence by saying you are intelligent. You could say tú eres inteligente. Intelligent is a permanent characteristic, isn't it? It doesn't go away if you're smart or not. So that's why we use eres, which is the you are of the ser verb. Moving on, if we want to say he or she is, so is being to be, we say es, don't we? Say es in your house. Es. Ella es simpática. So she is nice. That's what simpática means. Nice, and I love to see you guys writing sentences in the chat box. Muy bien. Good participation. Next, we have when we use usted. So when we're talking about you, or I think usted can mean she or he is too. So usted can mean you, formal, or she and he, formal, because they've written usted es profesor. So she is a professor, or he is. That would be he is a professor. Usted es profesor. We can also say you are a professor. Yeah. And then if we want to say we for the ser verb to be, we say somos. Say somos out loud. Somos. And then you, plural, vosotros would be sui. Sui. And then ellos and ellos say son. Son. And then if we want to use it with ustedes, which is you, plural, in Latin America or Canada, we say son. Son. And an example of that would be for ellos. Ellos son hermanos. They are brothers. Oh yeah, we were going to present today. That's right. And it's already 2:15. I think for today it might be more important for us to get through these verbs, if that's okay with you guys. And can we present next week instead? I would love that. I really would love to see your presentations, but this is good, fresh, new material for us. Gracias, you guys. So those are the conjugated verbs for ser. I'm going to get you guys to memorize these. And these practice sentences on the right-hand side will be very helpful for you. So it's basically saying is or are. That's when we use ser. Now let's take a look at estar. Now remember, estar is for temporary conditions, weather, emotions, different things like that, things that could change. When we want to use estar, we can use the following conjugated verbs, depending on which subject pronoun we want to use. If we're using yo, we say estoy. Say estoy in your house. Estoy. I get you guys to say estoy listo. Do you remember that? When you want to say I am ready before you present. You were already using estar and you didn't even know it. Mwahaha. Nice, Amelia. Nice, Gwen. Two, we would say estás. Say estás in your house, por favor. Estás. Nice, Noah. Nice, Karina. Nice, Gwen. He or she is. We would say is está. Está. Usted. So we can say that's saying you formal or he or she formal. Está, we say. Like usted está ocupado. You are busy. If we want to say, for instance, if you want to tell me that I'm busy by saying you are busy, we're going to use usted because it's formal and that's how you talk to a teacher usually. Usted está ocupado. You are busy. ¿Dónde está? Where is? Nice, Gwen. You used está. That's because we're talking about a location. Where is? We would use estar verb. Muy bien. We are. Nosotros estamos. Say estamos en su casa. Estamos. And then vosotros, we would use estáis. Say estáis. And then if we want to say they are, we would say ellos o ellas están. Say están. Están. And then our last but not least one, ustedes. If we wanted to say you are, but we're talking about a whole bunch of people, or talking to a whole bunch of people, we would say ustedes, and then están. Están. So let me just recap here. Ser and estar are both verbs that mean to be. And when we're using these verbs, we can use the following conjugated verbs, depending on who you're talking about, right? So you need to first know who you're talking about. For instance, I am ready. If I want to make that a sentence in Spanish, I have to find the verb or find the subject pronoun for I, which is yo. And then I have to decide if I am using ser or estar for I am ready. What do you think? Would it be ser or estar for I am ready? Ser or estar? Tell me in the chat box. Estar, sí, because being ready might change. I might not be ready tomorrow. It's something that couldn't change, so we use estar. And we would say, what would we say for I am ready? En español? Sí, yo estoy listo. ¿Perdón?
Estar.
Estar, muy bien. What about if I want to say I am sad? Would we use ser or estar? I am sad. Cansado means sad. Estar, sí, muy bien. What if I wanted to say you are a student? You are a student. Would I use ser or estar? Ser or estar. Is a student something that is more permanent? Now, I know that you might not be a student forever, but it's kind of like an occupation. It's your job to be a student. So we use ser, sí, muy bien. What if I want to say I am from Spain? Would I use ser or estar? I am from Spain. Ser, sí, because that's talking about origin or where you're from. Do you have a question, Violet? Okay. Soy de Canada, or yo soy de Canada. That's how you say I am from Canada. De means from. Good. So I want you guys to memorize the verbs for ser and the verbs for estar. Okay, Violet, adios. Violet, we are going to go over the homework right now. If you can stay, that would be really helpful. But if you have to go, then that's okay too. Okay. Boys and girls, does that kind of make sense? Give me a smiley face if you feel okay about ser and estar verbs. I tried to explain it as well as I could. And for your homework, you're going to practice creating sentences and using these verb forms. I think you guys get it. And I also think that you've already used these verbs in some of your homework assignments. And maybe you didn't know why you used those verbs, but now you do, I hope. Good, I'm so happy to see smiley faces. And that's okay if you don't feel good about it too, because you're gonna get practice in your homework. And how would you like me to include some kind of video on ser and estar? I really like videos. I'll include some helpful videos for you to watch in your class notes. And if you're not feeling really sure about that, please do watch those. So I'm going to include video on subject pronouns. I'm going to include a video on regular verb conjugation. And I'm going to include a video on our special ser and estar verb conjugation. Muy bien, guys. Great job. Let's go over our homework. I'm still sharing my screen, and I'm glad I am because I'm going to show you the worksheets that you'll work on. So there's going to be 2 worksheets, dos worksheets for you to complete. And when you have these worksheets, they're going to be like little attachments in your email that you can open up. Now you have 2 options. You can print out these worksheets and you can write on them by hand and then take a picture and email them back to me. Or you can simply give me an email and write out your sentences that way. And that will actually give you some writing practice too. So if you want to do it that way, that's fine. Do you have a question, Noah? Okay, I'm feeling like it's a little bit distracting in the chat box, so just try and communicate what you need to in the chat box instead of typing funny, cool little symbols and stuff. Gracias. So the first one is complete your estar y ser verb conjugation worksheet. So what's that I'm talking about? Okay, so you're going to get this worksheet. Do you guys see that? And oh my goodness, how cool. It's actually telling you as a reminder when we use ser and when we use estar. So this is what you're going to do. First, review when you use these verbs, and then it's just fill in the blank. And oh my goodness, they even give you the English explanation. Easy peasy, right? Practice using ser and estar in the following sentences. Let's do the first one together. Ben blank cansado. Ben, what we want to say is Ben is tired. So first you're going to have to decide if you're going to use the verb ser or estar. What would it be for tired? Sí, estar. Why? Because being tired is kind of a feeling or a temporary condition, right? You might not be tired in an hour or after you have a nap. Right, Hannah. So you use estar. And you're going to have to go back to your class notes. I'm feeling a little bit tired too today, Gwen. My voice is a little bit froggy today too. And in your class notes, I'm going to have the chart of all of the endings or the verbs, right? So estar. So I am tired, or Ben is tired. So you're going to go back and look at the chart. Ben is tired. So what would you say for Ben? Ben is the subject pronoun. So which one do you think you might have to use? I, you, he or she, usted, we, you. Right, you would use he. You would use he because we're talking about Ben. And that's one man or one boy. Está. Sí, and don't forget that little accent on top of the A when you're doing your assignment. It's okay if you don't put it in the chat box. Ben está cansado. So you are just going to write está. Okay, so you're going to have to decide which ones to use. Pay attention to those subject pronouns, or if it's a name like Sarah, that would be ella, right? Because it would make sense to say Sarah is happy or she is happy. It's the same is that we're using. Good. And if you find a word that you don't know, like mojados use Spanish dict to translate it, so it makes sense to you. You're going to learn some new vocabulary this way. So fill it out, send it back to me. That's your first worksheet. Your second worksheet is this. These won't take you very long. Oh, it's all Spanish. Muy bien. Practica el verbo ser. So that means practice the verb ser, to be. Forma oraciones. So form sentences con una palabra, with the word, de cada columna. So in the column, como en el ejemplo. So on the example, like on the example. So make sentences with a word from each column, like on the example. So this is fun. You get to put sentences together using all of these words. So they must include at least one from each column to create your sentence. Here's an example. Juan es bombera. Bombera. So they actually don't have Juan in here, but they've created a sentence using Juan. And they've used ser. So they used es. So you're going to create as many as you can sentences. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you're going to create 11 little sentences here. Let's try to do one together right now. So your subject pronouns are on the left, your conjugated ser verb is in the middle, and then your nouns are on the right-hand side. Give me a sentence in the chat box that you can create from these words. Oh, that's okay, Karina. Are you? Do you know what's going on right now? Okay, so can you see my shared screen here? This is one worksheet you're going to get. And I'm asking you to make sentences with a word from each column, like on the example. So you're going to put together 11 sentences and write them in the spaces here. Good. So you're going to, let's do one together. So let's first look at the left side of the box. Choose one of those. It is going to be a little bit to do, but you're just going to be filling in blanks. Basically, you're going to use these words. So all you have to do is decide which words to use. Let's say, let's use to as our first part of the sentence. So you can cross it off even if you want it on your homework. To, and then what would be the ser verb we have to use if we're using to as the subject pronoun? Eres, good. And then all you have to do is choose a word on the right-hand side. Now we have words for, these are all jobs. So student, architect, I don't know what cantantes is, but psychologist, professor. There are a couple words that I don't know, but you could just go to SpanishDict.com, and these are all jobs or occupations of people. Nice. So you can fill in the blank with whatever you want. So, tú eres profesor. That's a correct sentence. Don't forget your periods and your capitals. But you're basically just taking the words and creating sentences. Does that make sense? And you'll write them out on the line here? Good. Sí, muy bien. And does anybody have any questions about this? Time is up, you're right. Any preguntas about those two worksheets? So that's the first one, and you're going to be able to read it. Okay, guys. Could I just get someone's mic to be turned off, whoever that is? I think that might be Karina. Good. I am going to take off the Duolingo. So all you have to do is those two worksheets, send them back to me, and then memorize the estar and ser verb conjugation words. Any preguntas before we pray, chicos? You can definitely still do Duolingo. Maybe I'll put that as optional because I don't want you guys feeling too overwhelmed if you're having a hard time with those worksheets. Okay. Gwen, do you have a question? Okay. All right, guys. So that was a lot of new information today. And I hope you enjoy your homework and it will help you once you start practicing doing it. Yeah, Karina, let's do a prayer request. If anyone else has any prayer requests, you can let me know too and we can pray. Do you have?
Mine is for my sister Katie and my best friend's mom. My sister Katie's pregnant. And my best friend's mom is also pregnant.
Wow. I have 2 friends that are pregnant right now too. And Gwen's mom is getting surgery for tomorrow. You can pray for that. And Hannah's grandpa has cancer and is going to Ottawa to get a blood transfusion. And Faith's grandma. Oh. Yeah, sounds like there's some kind of scary stuff going on right now, but let's pray for those things and we'll just ask God to give some peace to these people and hope that everything works out for the best in His plans. All right, guys, let's pray. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for this day. Thank you that we can come together, Lord, and learn the beautiful language of Spanish and just be together and all believe in you, God. It's a really special thing to be able to talk about you and pray to you together, Lord. We have a few prayer requests today. If you could just hear us and just please, for these people that are struggling, Lord, and even for my students here that are feeling some hardships with their families and feeling for them, Lord, I just ask that you bless the people that are going through pregnancies and cancer and anyone who is not in full health, Lord. I just ask that your hand be upon them and you give them health, God, and you give them knowledge of you and peace, because we know that through you anything is possible and your will be done, Lord. We trust you and we love you. I also ask that you just put peace upon my students in this class, Lord, that whatever their loved ones are going through, that you give them faith too, and that you just guide them and keep them believing in you and keep them strong, Lord, through these times. We love you so much, God. Thank you for all your gifts. In Jesus' name, amen. Muy bien, mis amigos.
Amen. Adios.
Adios. For those of you who want to... Adios. I'm going to stay for like 5 or 10 minutes. Whoever wants to ask me questions about today's lesson or subject pronouns or verbs, you may stay and we can talk about that. But for everyone else, adios.